Nepal has been thrown into turmoil after Prime Minister Khadga Prasad Sharma Oli resigned following some of the deadliest protests in the country's recent history. The unrest erupted when Oli's government moved to ban major social media platforms such as Facebook, X, and YouTube, insisting that they had failed to comply with a new registration process. For many, especially younger Nepalis, the decision was seen as a direct assault on digital freedoms and free expression. Within hours of the ban, tens of thousands of protesters, mostly from Gen Z, flooded the streets, demanding not only a reversal of the decision but also broader reforms to tackle corruption and elite privilege in Nepali politics. What began as peaceful demonstrations quickly escalated into violent clashes. Police opened fire on demonstrators, killing at least 19 people and injuring more than 100, according to local reports. Enraged protesters responded by setting fire to the parliament building, torching the homes of prominent politicians and storming government compounds. Kathmandu's airport was shut down amid the chaos, effectively cutting the capital off from international flights. The scale of the violence shocked the nation and drew urgent international concern about the government's handling of dissent. Facing mounting pressure, Oli's administration lifted the social media ban and announced compensation for the families of the victims, along with medical care for the injured. Oli also pledged to form an investigative panel to report within 15 days. But by this point, the protests had morphed into something much larger than opposition to internet restrictions. They had become a generational revolt, led by young people who accused the political elite of corruption, nepotism, and indifference to public needs. Calls for deep political reform overshadowed the government's concessions, leaving Oli with little choice but to step down. Oli's resignation marks a dramatic turning point for Nepal, where democratic institutions have struggled to stabilize since the end of the monarchy in 2008. Analysts say the protests reflect a wider frustration among younger generations who feel excluded from decision-making and betrayed by leaders who have clung to power for decades. While the resignation has calmed some tensions, Nepal now faces an uncertain future. The country must navigate a delicate political transition, rebuild trust in its institutions, and respond to the demands of a generation unwilling to accept restrictions on their freedoms or business as usual from their leaders. International observers, including neighboring India and China, are watching closely. Both countries have strategic interests in Nepal, and regional stability is at stake if the unrest continues. For now, Nepal's youth-led uprising has sent a clear message. Citizens are no longer willing to tolerate heavy-handed governance, corruption, or limits on free expression.